All right. Hello again. I think we're set now.
Yeah, we are set. We are ready to roll.
All right. So for those who's watching that don't know you, we heard about you and your sister G's story on Humans of New York back in September.
October came
October.
out. I believe it came out October 14th on the 2-year anniversary of my sister's stroke. Actually, that wasn't planned to be like. It wasn't planned to come out on that day. It just so happened that it did.
I mean, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, it wasn't like we're gonna drop this on the date of G's stroke. I don't think Brandon even remembered that it was that date. You know what I'm saying? So it was a
Yeah.
total coincidence.
Wow. That was her.
Yeah.
Don't forget about me.
Yeah. Oh, no, she knows I don't forget about her. That's
Yeah.
for damn sure.
So so I just wanted to talk about your grief journey, when it started. Obviously, it's about your sister, and anything you would like to talk about with her or about her. Sadly, we have, like I said before, we have similar situation when both of our sisters have passed away, and it's nice to talk to somebody who gets it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Whose sibling has passed. So and this is like I said, still fresh for us. This only happened in September. So I'm kind of interested to see like your perspective on everything.
Yeah. Well, G passed away a year and a half ago on August 29th, 2020. And I'm sorry for the loss of your sister.
Thank you.
Of course. It's been a crazy, 2.5 years since she got sick back in October of 2019. I go far back and say it's been a crazy 10 plus years when she was diagnosed with brain cancer the first time back in 2010. And that was a horrible brain cancer that she beat. Like she beat a brain cancer that a lot of kids don't beat back in, from 2010 to 2012. So, she's always going to be a champion for that.
Yeah.
So, my life, the last, year and a half on the grief part, my life has done a complete 180. I don't really have much, I'm cool with my mom, but she's, she had her issues. She, did a lot of drugs, and her and I are cool. Like she's been clean 10, 11 years. Her and I are cool.
Good for her.
My dad is out in LA. I didn't even meet my dad till I was 17, and, we're friendly. I've seen him twice in 2 years, 3 years, So my sister was my whole world. I basically raised her like a single dad. There was people that helped, my uncle, my aunt, etc. But she was my whole world. She was my identity. So it goes beyond just a sibling. That's why I always say I don't think, and I never say that I know what anybody else is going through either. But that's why I always say I don't think there's a person in the world that could tell me they know what I'm going through because of the uniqueness of our story.
Right.
Like we were each other's rocks. Like there was no other siblings. Like we dealt with the same mother. Her dad left her when she was a baby. You know what I'm saying? I never really had a dad growing up. We had a lot. We had that in common. We took care of each other. I paid the bills, got her to school, got her everywhere. She did all the laundry, did all the cooking, washed all the dishes. When she was sick both times, and throughout the last 10 years, all the doctor's appointments, meeting with that was all me. Like I was at every meeting. I got her to all her doctor's appointments. I got her to the hospital the morning of the stroke, and countless other times when she had to go to the hospital for things. Like I was always there. I was there for everything. So besides losing the person that was my whole world, I lost a lot of my identity when I lost my sister too, which I think that's, pretty unique. Like it was always G and Aunt, like, is that's real. Like, we were attached at the hip, like she came with me everywhere. A lot of the things that I'm into, she probably wasn't even into that much, but she always came, whether it was Nick games, events, concerts. Like she loved being with me no matter what we were doing. As long as she was next to me, she was always there as much as she could. She did whatever she could to help me at my events. She always got me organized. You name it. There wasn't a thing she wouldn't do for me. So it's been, it's been really, really hard, obviously. And then it doesn't help what's going on in the world. Obviously, things are way better now than, September 2020, even way better now than they were a year ago today, as far as like all the COVID and all that stuff. Obviously I'm not going to get into that shit, but I just mean like we're living better. Like you can do, obviously you can go to games normally. A year ago right now, you couldn't even go to a Knick game.
Yeah.
So obviously, that stuff is back. So that helps me a lot because I'm back doing the things that I love, back being at the Garden, back doing my events, things like that. But it's very difficult because she was next to me for everything. And I miss her every second of every day. We lived here together the last 18 years. And, I feel her presence here every second. But I like to think as broken as I am, I'm really strong.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm probably stronger than most. You know what I'm saying? So no matter how much pain I'm in, I always do my best to keep pushing forward. I never use the term moving on because I'm never going to move on from her. And that's okay. But I will always do my best to keep pushing forward. And like, there's not a day that goes by, not one day that goes by that I don't cry. Some days it might be for 10 seconds. Some days it might be for 10 minutes. Some days it might be for 2 hours. Not one day it goes by that doesn't happen. But that's also the price of love, of unconditional love that, I don't know if a lot of people experience the love that my sister and I have for each other. It was different. It was extremely different and extremely unique because of the fact that, we really, really took care of each other. It went beyond just like my sister, her brother. It was way beyond that.
And I was actually I had my therapy session this evening, and I was telling my therapist how I was going to be talking to you tonight. And he goes, "Oh, I remember reading his story."
That's awesome.
And he goes, he said the same thing, because like they were more than brother and sister. He was like a dad to her on top of being a brother. And he goes, he didn't just lose his sister. He also lost someone who was like a daughter to him. So he's like, his world just like completely turned upside down.
That's correct. I said that laughing. That he's absolutely correct. That's why he gets paid the big bucks.
Yeah. And so he was like super excited that we were going to be talking.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Be sure to send him a copy.
Yeah, I'm going to. I'll tell him about it next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, we have two totally different circumstances with our sisters, but just the fact of losing a sister and a younger sister, like you shouldn't be she's younger. So she should.
Yeah, I mean, she's 15 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Although at times, as one of my best friends, this is actually pretty funny. One of my best friends, Jason, he was the MC at G's Celebration of Life, which we had on her 1-year anniversary of her passing. And, a lot of people were giving me credit for all the stuff that I did, but Jason said on the microphone, "Don't get it twisted. We know who the parent was in the relationship." And that was G.
Yeah. That's funny.
That was a really funny
That
moment.
is funny. When I can't even imagine her being diagnosed with, how old was she when she got diagnosed?
The first time, 10.
10. I mean, again, not comparing, but I had a cousin who passed away when he was 20 from cancer. So
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Age. And he was diagnosed at 6. So like we grew up, we were 5 months apart. So we grew up together, and I grew up with him, being sick and going through everything that he was going through. And when you're describing her at the hospital, I just get like flashbacks of him in the hospital. And it was so nice seeing her pictures and her smiling, because I know how strong of a person she has to be like that. I remember visiting my cousin, and he would still be smiling and laughing. I'm like, I just couldn't fathom or understand their spirit was just so like,
Right.
you're like so upset, and you're the one upset and crying, and there's
Yeah, no, of
the
course. I mean,
jokes.
I basically I lived there at the hospital. For the first few years, I stayed the night there every single night. I would sometimes be out during the day if I had to, but I stayed the night there every night. So you built a lot of, besides just being with G every day, you built a lot of relationships in the hospital, with a lot of other kids
Yeah.
that were going through similar trials and tribulations, and their attitude is definitely extremely amazing and extremely courageous.
Yeah. Um, as a sibling, was there a time when after G passed that you felt okay? And how did it affect you?
That I felt okay.
Okay. Like you were like, okay, like you were laughing and enjoying yourself. And you're
Like, are you asking the first time, or
like the first time that you actually felt like you took a breath and you're like, okay, like I'm okay today, and I'm not lying when I say I'm okay today.
yeah, yeah? I mean, I don't remember the first time. I mean, one of my things I've always said over the last year and a half is that, like, I'm never gonna be okay again, and my goal is to find a new okay.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the first time I laughed. Maybe a little bit on my birthday. On a few days before my birthday, me and a bunch of friends got together at my friend's restaurant. There was like 15 of us. It was a pretty fun night. It was 3 months after G passed. It was a very emotional night. I remember doing a toast and crying my eyes out. Um, but I would say, but that only lasted a few minutes as far as being okay that night. I would say, you know, I had it's hard to say when the first time was, because obviously I'm sure even some point after the first few weeks, I may have laughed once. It's
Yeah.
possible. I talk
Yeah.
to friends all the time. You have a laugh. And I tend to laugh a lot. I even laugh a lot in sadness. I'll even make you laugh if I'm sad. I
Yeah.
figure out, what I'm saying? And I feel like the first time I probably felt like a little bit okay was, I guess, like when the Knicks were on their playoff run, and as it got to like the 1 year anniversary, obviously that was an extremely emotional time. But the last few months, I'm still in the same amount of pain, but you know, I recently met a girl that I could honestly say I've fallen in love with, and I
She
enjoy
sounded very
every.
nice on the phone, by the way.
Yeah, she's great. She's amazing. And she makes me very, very happy. And I know it's okay to be happy. And I used to say, probably until I met her, one of my biggest fears was actually being happy again. I've said that a lot. And honestly, like right now, like the pain of G is never going to go away. It's just, like I said, it's something that, only I understand. I could tell you, and you, and just because, no one's going to understand how I feel.
Right.
But I'm totally okay with being happy.
That's good.
I am. I love every second with my friends. Again, I love every second with Kat. That's my girlfriend. She's incredible, and doesn't mean I cried today in my car. I don't even know what triggered it. Something I forgot what it was. It was like 3 hours ago. But I'm totally okay with being happy. Doesn't mean I'm not hurting inside every single day,
Yeah.
but I'm totally, like I said, I'm okay being happy. You know what I'm saying?
And I understand. Back in November, I took a leave of absence from work because everything was just too much for me to handle. And
Right.
I went and visited a friend, and I was packing my stuff, and I felt so guilty. I started crying,
Right.
and I was going to call her, like, I'm canceling the trip, like I can't come. And I just thought about how my sister's never going to be able to go anywhere again.
Right.
And that made me feel so guilty, and it hurt, like it really hurt my heart.
Of course.
I enjoyed myself as much as I could, but a few weeks ago, maybe like 2, 3 weeks ago, I was like, you know what? I feel okay. My best friend was like, you seem lighter.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you. And then that feeling of that guilt feeling came back like full storm, full storm.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, how can you feel okay? How can you be happy? How can you, and it's like such a hard thing to like kick. And that's like, I feel like grief is just like so mean.
Yeah, no, I mean it's not pleasant, but
No.
it's also love. You know, it's you know, the price of love too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You got to realize that, and you know, it's okay to live. It's totally okay.
Yeah.
There's no reason to feel bad at all. There's not, you know.
And I was
Um,
actually talking to my brother about, and I told him what, my friend had said, and he was saying how he was talking to his, therapist, and he was saying, there's been times where I've gone out with my friends and I've had a good time. He's like, then I would start to feel guilty about having fun. And the therapist goes, well, Susie wouldn't want you to feel that way. And he goes, well, how do you know what she would feel? And the therapist goes, well, how do you know what she would feel?
yeah.
Say like she would want you to do this, or she would be upset that you did this, because you don't know. So
Yeah, I mean, I think if you know if your sister was a decent human being, which I'm guessing she was,
yeah.
I don't. Why would anybody be mad at you for living? Why would
No, and I don't
anybody?
think she would. I don't think she would. But I think we just always assume, you know, assumptions.
Yeah, but you shouldn't.
Yeah.
There's nothing to assume. Like I think there's not one person unless they suck that would be like, oh man, I don't want my loved ones living.
Fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's not one person unless
Yeah.
they just, you
Yeah.
know,
That is fair.
that's it. That's 100%
That
correct.
is true.
I know
Um,
why I'm here.
before you experienced before you experienced G's passing, did you ever think about grief? Did you ever think about like your feelings, or like what would have happened, or was it completely different than what you
Like
thought?
had I been through grief before?
Or yeah, I mean, I guess yeah. Like I'm
Yeah, I mean, like
before it was
I've
nothing
been through.
compared to your sister.
Of course, yeah, that's a great question. So like
Yeah.
my first real bad grief experience was, remember, I was, again, everybody's story is different and unique. I was raised by my grandparents.
Mhm.
And you know, for the most part, you know, if you're raised by your grandparents, just by law of averages, you're probably not going to get them as long as if you were raised by your parents. Just law of averages, probably
Yeah.
not going to happen, right? So I was raised by my grandparents, and my grandfather he was pretty healthy. You know, he was pretty healthy, and he was about 77, 78 in 2002, going into 2003. I was 19, and I never really been through a loss. Did I know some family members that passed? Yeah. Did it affect me? Not really.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm sorry that this aunt passed away. You know, like didn't
Yeah.
affect me. I don't mean that like bad, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
um, so in 2003, my grandfather was a big Giants fan, and I used to be really big into the Giants, and I haven't really been as much since he passed back then. And the Giants were playing the 49ers in the first round of the playoffs. The Giants were up by like 30 points, and the Giants blew the game. And then a few weeks later, my grandfather got this horrible pneumonia out the blue. I'm pretty sure it was from the Giants. And I'm kidding. You know, no. Well, I remember like a week after the game, my grandfather was just like, no, he was like, you know, he's been a Giants fan since he was like back when they played at Yankee Stadium. He was like, I've never had a loss affect me like that. But anyway, out the blue, he got pneumonia, and he was way healthier than my grandmother. My grandmother had a stroke in 1997. She was in a wheelchair, you know, and my grandfather was healthy. All of a sudden, he gets pneumonia out the blue, and 2 weeks later, he passes.
Oh.
And you know, like I was 19, so it was my first real experience with like death, and like I was messed up, super messed up. Now, also you have to realize that, and this may rub some people the wrong way, but I don't mean anything bad by it. There's certain, all death sucks. Let me make that clear. You
Yeah.
could pass away at 138 years old and you could still cry for that person and be sad. But there's certain, like, obviously, I was messed up by my grandfather. I never experienced real death before, but I never said to myself, like, he didn't live a full life. Not that it's still not sad. I'm trying to make sense of this. I
Yeah,
don't
no, I
want to.
completely understand what you're saying. Yeah.
So, like, yeah, obviously, I think he passed at 77 or 78. Of course, I wish he lived till 98. But I never said, "Oh, damn, what would my grandfather have been?" I wish he was here for the 2008 Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think, like, we talk about your sister, you talk about G, you talk about kids that passed. It's substantially different. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? And they all matter in their own way, obviously. Like, fuck, I'm a horrible person. No. But like, that was my first real experience with grief. And I mean, you know, it was like any kid that lost, you know, like the dude that raised them. I was pretty much a mess, but I also saw my grandmother, who was I was a mess, but my grandmother was a complete fucking disaster. So I moved back in with her, and it was me, my grandmother, and my sister, and we moved in with my grandmother again. That was a whole other story, but and like, you know, we had to be there for her because she was a complete disaster, but she did a good job, you know, solid job holding it together, and she lived till 2013. And then you know, along that way, I lost a friend in 2006. You know, actually from suicide. A
Mm.
solid friend from high school. That was tough. You know, one of my friends, you know, mother lost a son. That was tough. I didn't know him that well, but you know, for her, just watching her go through so much pain was horrible. And then, you know, my grandmother passed in 2013, but, you know, she was 80, almost 85 years old. You know, like, you know, I miss her. I miss my grandmother every day, but like, you know, like, she lived an amazing full life. She raised five kids, three of her own, and helped raise G and me. And so I never once woke up. Like, yeah, do I wish she lived till 87? Sure.
Yeah.
I never once woke up and said, fuck, man, like, what would my grandmother have been?
Yeah.
You know, I never say we missed out on so much. You know what I mean? And like I said, I don't want to rub anybody the wrong way when I say that. And so that's why I say
No, but like you're expected to like have your grandparents pass away.
yes. I know it sounds a little morbid, but yes.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, when I use like the grandparent analogy, when someone says like, I know what you're going through, I lost my grandmother, I almost want to like punch them in the face. Obviously, I wouldn't punch anyone in the face. You know, I've been in 2 fights in my life, one when I was 14 and one when I was 8. Just
That's
for the
not
record.
bad.
I'm at least I'm not violent at all. So, but no, like, so like, I almost get mad when people say that. Doesn't mean it's not sad. Of course it is. Like, you
Yeah.
love that person. But like, when people get, you know, so uncomfortable with other people's pain, they try to make it about them, even though they mean no harm. They're not coming
Yeah.
from a bad place. You know what I'm saying? So like, if someone's going through something, if you're going through a breakup and you call me to be your love doctor, I'm there for you about your breakup. It's not about a situation I went through 2 years ago. It's
Right.
about your breakup. Now, if you ask me a question or ask me for advice, maybe I'll insert that. But it's not about me in that moment. It's about you. You needed me. So it's the same when it comes to grief. Like, the worst thing you can do, I think, now, if you're talking for an hour or two, you insert something, the worst thing you can do is make it about yourself when someone else is going through it, even though we've all known someone who has passed away at some point in our life. But the worst thing you can do is make it about yourself, when, you know, which is, you know, why I at times I got very uncomfortable, because so many people would tell me they know how I feel. And like, first of all, and I say this from a joking standpoint too, you read my story. Is there any, like, how unique is our story? So how are you going to tell, how is anybody going to tell me they know how I feel when, first off, our story is unique as a motherfucker?
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You know?
You could say I empathize with you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right. And like, I'd almost rather you be like, yo, man, I can't imagine how you feel, but I'm here to listen.
Yeah.
You know, I'm here to listen to you. And you get that a lot too. Of course you do.
Yeah.
But, you know, it at times, you know, made me uncomfortable when people would always insert themselves and start telling me they know how I feel, or, you know, like, you know, I do believe in God, but like, they would say this is God's plan. I don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah. I want to slap people when they say that.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to hear that she's in a better place. No, there's one place for her, and that's here.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to hear that she's not suffering anymore. I just, you know, I would just rather you just be a mess with me. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
you want to listen to me, if you want to hear me talk, Lord knows I can talk. Then be all ears, you know, and I'll do that for anybody else. But you know, I think people have gotten a little bit better with that because I've expressed myself. I've been like, hey, like that doesn't help. I'm so sorry about that for you. But if you want to talk to me, that doesn't help me.
You know
You
what?
know,
That's good for you for standing up and telling people.
I have. Oh, I have.
Good. I know, you know, when everything happened with me, so my sister passed away September 2nd.
Right.
3 days prior to her passing, my best friend died.
I'm so sorry.
I was hit like boom, boom.
Yeah.
You know, I had another best friend who said, I'll do whatever you need. If you want to go and talk, we'll talk. If you want to go and not talk, we won't talk. So I think in that moment, in moments like this, like that's what you need. You need someone
Right.
to be there with you. They don't need to say one word.
Right. I agree.
Sit in silence for 2 hours. That is okay.
Yeah, I agree.
And when you're ready to talk, they're there to listen.
I agree.
I think that's what makes people uncomfortable because they want to do something.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I said nobody ever means harm.
Yeah.
But like there's certain things you can say that can be uncomfortable, especially like you said, like your therapist said, like G was basically like my child. She was my identity. Like she was fighting for her life at the age of 10.
Yeah.
You know, so when the person like kind of like invades my space and tells me they know what I'm going through, I tend to get a little uncomfortable because I would never say that to them. I would never say that to them. Never.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm sorry. I'm here to listen.
Yeah.
I would never tell them I know what you're going through. That's not fair.
Wouldn't the world just be a better place if everyone just thought the way we thought?
Yeah, I think so. It's possible.
I say that all the time. Like, if people can just think what I think,
Yeah.
all will be right in the world. So after G passed away, what were some things that helped you get through the grief or get up? What made you get up the next day? Because I know it's hard.
What made me get up? Nothing, because there was nothing going on. To be perfectly honest, there was nothing going on. So I don't even think I wasn't sleeping late, but I had nothing to do. Like it wasn't like had she passed away and life was normal. Yeah, I think I would have still did everything I did. I think I still would have did my events, even if she had been passed, like G passed August 29th, right? That's around the same time I usually start announcing my opening night Knicks event. I think if there was no COVID, I would have done it. Even if G had been gone for a week, I think I would have still did it. That said, when she passed, it was the middle of the pandemic. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, restaurants are open outdoors. Like you weren't seeing too many people. So like I was waking up every day when I woke up. And like I deserved that too. Like, you know, but like what was getting me through, I was eating a lot. I wasn't running. I wasn't playing basketball. I love playing basketball. I really do. I didn't play basketball for the first time until June of 2021.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah. And I
Was there a
love
reason,
playing.
or you just like?
Well, there's nobody was really playing because everything going on. Like, had you been allowed to play basketball, I would have. Like, you weren't allowed to. Like, you know, the gyms were barely open. If the gyms were open, you could only go and like use the elliptical machine with a mask on. Like, nobody was playing ball at the park. So I would do some bike riding. I'd go out to eat a lot, try to link up with a friend, and just go out to eat by myself. I would go to restaurants that G and I went to all the time. And, you know, we're both pretty big social butterflies. So every restaurant I know somebody at, whether it's a waiter, a waitress, an owner, a manager. So I would go there and grab something to eat and then just come back home. They were really, really horrible, dark days. And I think like they would have been horrible and dark regardless. But, you know, if life was normal, at least I would have been busy.
Yeah.
Even though I would have been, even now, I'm in tremendous pain, but I keep busy. Yeah. There was nothing, like when she passed, there was nothing to keep busy about except eating. Like there was nothing to do.
Yeah.
I had no work. I had nothing.
Just think.
Yeah.
Thinking's never
And
good.
like, remember, like she passed, there wasn't a funeral, there wasn't a celebration. Like the day after she passed, like a few of my friends came over. I had like 5, 6 people at my crib. It never happened again. It was a lot of FaceTimes and one-on-one meetups, but I never got to have those hugs, and I didn't really start getting that till the spring and summer. And I feel like, kind of like I was happy to do her celebration of her life a year later, but had life been normal, I probably would have did it. I wouldn't have did it the week of her passing, but I probably would have did it, within a month. And like that would have been nice to have that love and feel everything. And I didn't get that, and that
Yeah.
kind of hurt. And I got it a year later, but a year later, not everybody feels this, and as they shouldn't. And just like I wouldn't feel the same about a death that's not directly to me, for example. So like a year later, it probably wasn't as emotional for most other people, and that's fine. I mean, that's not a bad thing. I mean, again, it'd be the same for me. That's not,
Yeah.
it was the same. Like at G's celebration of life, like I was just as emotional. For me, it felt like it happened 2 hours ago. Still, you feel me?
Yeah.
But since it was a year later, probably didn't feel like that for a lot of other people. Doesn't mean they didn't care, didn't love the hell out of me and G, but that's just a fact.
Yeah.
So like it was a way different scenario than many people have probably gone through because of the things that were going on in the world that we obviously had no control over.
Right. I know for us, and my family's Middle Eastern, so in our church, you do a 40-day memorial for when someone passes, a 6 memorial, and a 1-year memorial. So my sister's 6-month memorial is actually the end of this month.
Right.
And it's the same thing like you're saying. For us, it feels like it just happened 2 minutes ago.
Right.
But that day, obviously people are going to be sad and upset, but it won't hit the same as it will for us. And it, like you said,
right.
She's our sister, she's my parents' daughter,
Right.
So it's different.
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, it's been a year and a half for you, and like you said, it feels like it just happened. The pain is there, and I don't think it's ever going to go away.
Yeah, I agree. I just do my best to live every day and try to enjoy myself, because I only get one trip through this life. And I'm going to continue to do my best. I'm going to continue to be in pain, but that's okay, because that's the price of not only just love, but unconditional love that I experienced. And I hope many people can one day experience the love that G and I had for each other. I truly believe it was a once in a lifetime love. I truly believe that. I don't just believe that, I know that.
If you were to describe G in like one story, what is your favorite story that you can think of that would be like, this is who she was?
Well, with me, probably just like a troll, you know what I'm saying? Like her and I had nothing in common, zero, other than food. And like, that's it. Like she didn't care about clothes. She didn't care about sneakers. She didn't really care about the music that I liked. She didn't really care about sports. She didn't care about Nike or this or that. She cared about, like drag queens and Harry Potter and Doctor Who and things like that. So but I almost think that made our love even stronger, because like she would just like, I'll get like, for example, I was known before Humans of New York, right? So let's say I get a box in the mail from some brand sending me some t-shirts or some hats, and she would, make a remark like, oh, you get these hats because you're Anthony Donahue, things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like she was just always like would troll me, but she loved it. Like, how many times I'd walk out of my room in like a certain outfit and I'd be like, yo, is this good? And she'd be like, no. Or she'd say yes. I'd be, all right, take a photo of me. All right, get that angle. Actually, G, let's go downstairs. I need a photo in this outfit. And she would do it. She would do it every time.
That's funny.
She'd do it she didn't care.
That's a good sister.
she did it every time. She never even used Instagram really till like the last few months of her life. Like she didn't care.
Good for her.
She just wanted to live. She
Yeah.
appreciated life more than 99% of the world because she fought for her life when she was 10 years old. She got it more than most of us,
Yeah.
way more than me. She got it. She understood that it wasn't about whether it was likes or comments or followers. It was about just enjoying yourself. She didn't give two fucks about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Where her brother is like, sneakers matching this, what I'm saying? Like, again, she loved it. She loved that I was like that.
Yeah.
She thought it was hilarious, but she didn't care at all.
My
She
sister
didn't-
was the same way. She was like super non-materialistic.
Yeah.
Or like, Susie, like, go do something. She's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. It's okay.
Yeah.
But it's nice to like, I'm getting to the point where I think about her and I like laugh and I like roll my eyes away.
Right.
I think I would roll my eyes at her when, she was famous for her Susie stories.
Right.
I have a story to tell you and it's really funny. And we'd be like, is it really funny or is it like Susie funny?
Yeah.
And she'd be like, it's Susie funny. Then it'd take like 20 minutes to tell like a 2-minute story. But
Yeah.
laugh because she was cracking up at the end, even though it was like not funny at all.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So it's nice to like have those memories.
Of course.
But they met up there.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. But I mean, if there's anything else that you want to say,
I mean, you're the host. You're the host.
I know. I just kind of want to keep this like, just like friends chatting.
I'm easy. You know what I'm saying? And you could ask me anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I go on shows all the time, whether it's about this topic or the Knicks or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, ask me whatever you want.
How did Humans of New York find you? Like, hear your story.
That's a great question. We gotta get you on this shit. Get you on the interviewing better. Now I'm just fucking with you. Through my friend New York Nico.
Okay.
Brandon from Humans of New York and New York Nico collaborated on doing some of New York Nico's friends. And Brandon only, if you follow Humans of New York, they only do the long pieces a few times a year.
Don't do the what pieces?
The long pieces.
Oh, the long pieces. Okay.
So Brandon did like 15 of Nico's friends all in, one post piece. And then Nico's like, yo, I got this one guy for you, but I don't think it would be a one post piece. And Brandon was like, okay, like, tell me a little bit about him. Brandon saw my ABC story. ABC did a story on me and G. And he was like, holy shit. And he came to my apartment in May. And we talked for like 2 hours and it ended up being, that was in May and the story wasn't done till early October.
Wait, so how did ABC find you?
I mean, listen, I've been a big deal for a while. You got to realize that.
Oh, I don't know. I just found
You can laugh, by the way. I'm joking. You got to realize my humor too.
No, actually, I know someone personally who follows you and I'm like, oh, that's so funny.
Who's that?
I forget his Instagram name.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so I've been doing work like in the Knicks content space for over almost 15 years now.
Oh, okay.
So I was a human of New York before I was on Humans of New York. So mine and G's story, obviously Humans of New York was the biggest platform it was ever on, most eyeballs ever. But our story was on ABC. It was on Yahoo. It was in the New York Post. So our story was out there. You know what I'm saying?
After she passed away?
Before, even as she was sick. Oh yeah. Yeah. There was an article, New York Post did an article as she was sick. G did an interview with the New York Post.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And on January 2020, G did an interview with the New York Post as she was sick, saying how she was going to beat it and everything.
Can we find that online?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, that's all
just Google Minor G's name, it'll come up.
That's so
I can text
cool.
it to you.
Yeah.
So like we were known before Human. Now again, obviously Humans of New York put us on another level.
Yeah.
Obviously, that goes without saying. But like we were out there. We were out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a group of Nick fans in the thousands upon thousands that have been following me and G for going back to 2010.
Wow.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's
I
cool.
know Nico for like 3 or 4 years. So the story again, Humans of New York gave eyeballs that it never would have got anywhere else. But like, yeah, the story had been out there.
How did you feel about all this attention? She doesn't seem like someone who would welcome it.
She loved it.
Oh,
She did, but she loved it in a different type of way. Like I don't mind being the center of attention. I walk into a room, I'm there, right?
yeah.
G loved it. She loved the attention, but she loved me being the mouthpiece. Like when she was sick, both times, especially the second time, like G never made updates. Like if you ask G a question about her treatments, you know what her answer would be? Take a guess.
Ask Aunt.
Wow, you won a prize.
Huh,
That's
but I
correct.
win.
I'll think about it. Yeah, ask Aunt. Ask Aunt. Unless it was like direct, like, when's your next appointment? Oh, okay, it's tomorrow, whatever. But like
Yeah.
for the most part, if you ask G a question about treatments, and it would just, even if she knew the answer, ask Aunt. She never made updates on social media. She had me do it, and she liked the attention that it brought in. You know what I'm saying? But
It probably felt nice.
from.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'll say you probably felt nice to know people like cared.
She loved it. Yeah, she loved it all. But like I said, she loved it, and she loved me being the mouthpiece. Loved it, and that's how she wanted it. Like if she told me not to share, like I documented it as it happened from 2019 to her passing. I obviously a little bit less the last few months I still did too. I documented it all. That was at her request. That was her request. She was like, do a little social media thing and document this. And she said that she was fighting for everybody else to let everybody know it's going to be okay. No matter what you're going through, it's going to be okay. And she wanted me through my platform to show that to everyone, that she was fighting for everybody else.
Yeah.
She wasn't fighting for herself. She was, but she was fighting for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And she wanted me to document it all. So she loved all the attention, just in a different way than her attention to her brother.
And because she was, I know with my cousin, because he was diagnosed when he was 6, he was on the pediatric floor, even though he was 20 years old.
Right.
Because he started off as pediatrics.
Yeah.
The same thing with G, right?
What's that?
Was she still on the pediatric floor when she was in the hospital?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know with my cousin, they sound very much alike, that he always put on a strong face because for the little kids that were in the hospital.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, I have to be brave for them because they're so much younger and they're scared.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they were like doing the same kind of thing.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Hero for everybody else.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I never met her. I'm sorry that I wish I had the opportunity to meet her. But seeing all her pictures and her videos, she just sounds like
it's a lot.
a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, no, I'm so thankful. I have so many videos and photos, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful. A lot of our videos are very funny of her just making fun of me, and is great.
Those are the best. But when you post them, I'm like, I watched them a few times. It's just like you could just see, like, just what such a light she was.
Yeah, she's the best. The best. She said, I always told her this. I told her this before she even had cancer the first time. Like, she saved my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what my life would have been without her. She saved my life, and she gave me a purpose in life that I never imagined I'd ever have.
Right.
So, and even though my mom had her struggles and trials and tribulations, I think at the end of the day, I still got to give my mom props for trusting me. Because she could have been like, hey, she could have fought it and been like, oh, she should go with her dad in Texas or this or that. But even though like my mom probably wasn't, winning Mom of the Year awards, she still did trust me, and that does mean something.
Yeah. And when you said before that G was like your identity, now, who do you identify as now?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. I think a lot of people, maybe even like yourself, come to me for strength, for inspiration. to inspire people, to do your best to move forward, to inspire people to be better family people, maybe
Mhm.
be better brothers, better fathers. You see what I did with G, like, like I gave my all to her, and it was easy. People would always say, like, how did you do it? It was easy. It was,
Yeah.
like, I mean, 10 years. I mean, over 10, but like with the cancer stuff, over about 10 years. It was easy. Just gotta do what you gotta do. Oh wow, so I can't go out all summer and party. Oh, no big deal.
Yeah.
Like that's like that. It was when you love someone that much, that deep, that unconditional, it's easy. It's easy to be at every appointment. It's easy. Do you need a day off here and there? Sure. Every now and then, like I'd have an appointment and I'd ask my uncle, it's like, yo, can you take her today? Because I really gotta do this, But it was rare I even did that. It was
Yeah.
very rare. There was not many, some days at the hospital where I would have a nurse come up to me and they'd say, Anthony, we don't want to see you tomorrow. We got you.
Out
I
of
said, "What
love.
do you mean?" It'd be like, and this was 10 years ago and now. There'd be many times they'd say, don't come here, or Aunt, go leave, come back tomorrow, or come back in 5 hours. Like you got, like, and that was awesome. So
Yeah.
when you love someone that much, that deep, that unconditional, there's nothing you won't do for them. Nothing. You do what you got to do. And unfortunately, it's not always like that. It's not.
Yeah.
Because I know from people at the hospital that have told me stories of parents, and I can't, it's obviously very difficult to take care of a kid that's going through a cancer, especially brain cancer. And a lot of parents, some parents fold. Some parents, maybe they're not there for every treatment, or they're late a lot. It's a grind. And one of the biggest compliments I've ever had in my life was a nurse practitioner we've had for over 10 years, Eileen. She said this at G's celebration. She said this to me many times privately. She said, don't get me wrong, I've seen a lot of great parents. You're the best caretaker I've ever seen. I've never seen anybody like you. And for you to be 26 years old, 12 years ago, having a summer ahead of you and take on that responsibility and never miss an appointment, have her there every day, stay every night in the hospital. You're the best caretaker I've ever seen. And there's not besides, people saying I'm the best brother ever, there's not a better compliment than that. Like I put my heart and soul into my sister, and my sister put her heart and soul into me.
You could tell there's all the love that's there, and it's like really beautiful.
No, it is. And I feel it every second of every day. And that's why she's the reason why I'm doing my best to move forward. She's the reason why I'm learning to be happy again. And of course it's sad. And I think of, how much G would love Kat, and how I could picture the two of them, ganging up on me. Because I think Kat has similarities to G as far as, interests and things like that. And I could see those two ganging. I picture it. I see those two, ganging up on me for my craziness. And,
Yeah.
But I know I got to keep going, and I will. It's going to be a lot of tears still. It's a lot of pain, but I'm going to keep going, because I have to. There's no maybe. It's like I have to. And there's certain days that are harder than others. Like February 13th is coming up. That's a very difficult day. That's the day we found out 10 years ago that she was cancer free. And every year for 7 straight years, we celebrated on February 13th. Every year we did something very special. And for 7 years.
Yeah.
But that date will never not be tough. And that date is coming up on Sunday. So it is very tough.
Yeah. Yeah. There's yeah, I know with us, we're just going through the first of everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the year after it gets any easier or more bearable.
Everybody's different. You just gotta feel it how you feel it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't. You just gotta live.
Yeah.
And take every day, take second by second, and do your best.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
Yeah, I know what I'm trying to like tell myself is I have to live for the life that my sister can't.
Yeah, you gotta live for yourself too. You gotta live for
Yeah.
yourself. Live for yourself, live for her. You know, you gotta do your best. You have no choice. You have
Yeah.
to. Yeah, there's no like,
Hard though. It's hard though.
yeah, but you got to.
You have to.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
You have to. You know, if you gotta cut this clip and watch it before you start your day, you do that. But you have to. You have no choice.
Yeah.
Feel me?
It's getting easier is the wrong word. It's getting more tolerable.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
You know, just
Yes.
gotta do
I
it.
went from second to minute to minute. Now I'm working on day to day. So
Yeah, listen, some days are gonna be harder than others, some minutes are gonna be harder than others, but you just gotta keep moving forward, doing what you love, doing what you enjoy, and you know, that's
Yeah.
it. You know, like doesn't mean the pain's gonna go away, but you gotta try. You gotta try. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to her, you owe it to yourself.
yeah. Well, it was wonderful meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
Nice
Thank you for having
chatting
me
with
on.
you. Hopefully, if
appreciate
ever
it.
in the city
I'm always around, you know.
for lunch or something. I don't know.
I got you. Thank you for
Wonderful
having
to
me
meet
on the
you.
show. I hope you know, I hope I helped a little bit to whether it's to yourself or to anybody listening or watching. You know, just
Thank you for introducing us to G.
of course, my pleasure. And I think you know, one thing I got after she passed a lot, that first week or two from people said to me, thank you for sharing her with us. I got that a lot.
I think
So
that was the first message I sent you too. Was thank
which was pretty,
with us.
you know, you know, I had to get rid of her sometimes, you know. Um, so yeah, so like I said, I miss her every second of every day. There's not a second that goes by she's not in my mind. But you know, like I said, I owe it to her. I owe it to her. I owe it to myself. I owe it to my grandparents. I owe it to everybody that loved me so much to continue living, loving, inspiring, and doing my best for myself and for others, the people that I love and people that look to me for inspiration.
Well, I can say you're from this side, you're doing an awesome job.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, and good luck with the show. If you need me again, we'll do it again.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.